कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ वरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ वरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ वरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा यमुना तीरा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Jai Radha Hari Radha Hari Radha Jai Radha Kama Sundara Radha Kama Sundara Jai Krishna Balaram Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jai Krishna Balaram Jai Jagannath Baladev Jai Subhadra Jai Jagannath Baladev Jai Subhadra Jai Gaur Varanita, Varanita, Jaya 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 Gati Jaya Jaya Gati Jaya Jaya Jaya
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम सूर्यकाचार्य स्त्रोत्र सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामी श्रीपाद गुरु महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम सूर्यकाचार्य स्त्रोत्र सदस्य श्रीमद अभय शरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रीपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परम सूर्यकाचार्य स्त्रोत्र सदस्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रीपाद जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वसादि गौर भक्त की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री द्वारका धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गौरमंडल नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेद भक्त वंद की जय। ताय गौर प्रमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembly devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembly devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembly devotees Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. जय श्री प्रभुपाद जय श्री गुरुदेव की जयंता भगवान। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। निगमकल्पतरो गलितं फलं सुखमुखामृतद्रव्यसंयुतम् पिबत भागवतं रसमालयम्। मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकः। मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकः। मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकः। तंत्रा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री गुरुदेव की जय। रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम 10th canto, first chapter, verse 25. विष्णोर्मा भगवती यया सम्मोहितं जगत् आदिष्टा प्रभुनांशेन कार्याते संभविष्यति। विष्णोर्माया भगवती यया सम्मोहितं जगत् आदिष्टा प्रभुनांशेन कार्याते संभविष्यति। विष्णुर्माया भगवती यया सम्मोहितं जगत् आदिष्टा प्रभुनांशेन कार्याते संभविष्यति। Anyone would like to repeat, please?
हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, कैन यू हियर मी?
I can hear you, Mataji.
विष्णोर्माया भगवती यया सम्मोहितं जगत् आदिष्टा प्रभुरांशेन कार्यार्थे संभविष्यति।
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। नोर्माया भगवती यया सम्मोहितं जगत् आदिष्टा प्रभुनांशेन कार्यार्थे संभविष्यति। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I read?
Yes, 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 please, please.
Hare Krishna. Vishnurmaya Bhagavati Yaya Sammohitam Jagat Adista Prabhunam Sena Karjarther Samabhavisati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Anyone? Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Word to word meaning. It's a single sloka. We can read the word to word meaning. Vishnu Maya, the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Bhagavati, as good as Bhagavan and therefore known as Bhagavati. Yaya, by whom? Sammohitam, captivated. Jagat, all the worlds, both material and spiritual. Adishta, being ordered. Prabhuna, by the master. Amshena, with different potential factors. Karya arte, for executing business. Sambhavishyati would also appear. Translation. The potency of the Lord, known as Vishnu Maya, who is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will also appear with Lord Krishna. This potency, acting in different capacities, captivates all the worlds, both material and spiritual. At the request of her master, she will appear with the different potencies in order to execute the word of the Lord. Purport. Parashya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate, Srikashotara, Nishad 6.8. In the Vedas, it is said that the potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called by different names such as Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Ultimately, however, the Lord's potency is one, exactly as electric potency is one, although it can act both to cool and to heat. The Lord's potency acts in both the spiritual and material worlds. In the spiritual world, the Lord's potency works as Yogamaya, and in the material world, the same potency works as Mahamaya, exactly as electricity works in both the heater and the cooler. In the material world, this potency working as Mahamaya acts upon the conditioned souls to deprive them more and more devotional service. It is said, Yaya sammohita jiva atmanam trigunatmakam. In the material world, the conditioned soul thinks of himself as a product of triguna, the three modes of the material nature. This is the bodily conception of life. Because of associating with the three gunas of the material potency, everyone identifies himself with his body. Someone is thinking he is a Brahmana, someone a Kshatriya, and someone Vaishya or Sudra. Actually, however, one is neither a Brahmana, a Kshatriya, a Vaishya, nor a Shudra. One is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, Mamayavamshaha. But because of being covered by the material energy, Mahamaya, one identifies himself in these different ways. When the conditioned soul becomes liberated, however, he thinks himself as eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupavai Krishnaira Nishtyadas. When he comes to this position, that position, the same potency acting as Yoga Maya increasingly helps him become purified and devote his energy to the service of the Lord. In either case, whether the soul is conditioned or liberated, the Lord is supreme. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9.1, 9.10, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Cha Characharam. It is by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the material energy, Mahamaya, works upon the conditioned soul. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimodatma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of the activities which are actually carried out by nature. That's from Bhagavad Gita 3.27. Within conditioned life, no one has freedom. But because one is bewildered, being subject to the rule of Mahamaya, one foolishly thinks himself independent. Ahankara vimudatma karta aham iti manyate. But when the conditioned soul becomes liberated by executing devotional service, he is given a greater and greater chance to a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different transcendental statuses such as Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, and Madhurya Rasa. Thus, the Lord's potency, Vishnu Maya, has two features. Avaranika, Avaranika, and Unmukha. Avaranika and Unmukha. When the Lord appeared, his potency came with him and acted in different ways. She acted as Yogamaya with Yashoda, Devaki, and other intimate relations of the Lord, and she acted in different way with Kamsa, Salva, and other asuras. By the order of Lord Krishna, his potency Yogamaya came with him and exhibited different activities according to the time and circumstances. Karyate Sambhavishyati. Yogamaya acted differently to execute different purposes desired by the Lord, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mahatmanastu Mampata Daivam Prakritim Ashrita. The Mahatmas who fully surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord are directed by Yogamaya, whereas the Duratmas, those who are devoid of devotional service, are directed by Mahamaya. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Vishnukrishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Sarupa Damadara Swami Namane Namasad Bhaktamane Manipurudvavaisha Prabhupada Sadvani Prasharanirthaya Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Pachati Desatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna to all the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, Maharajas. I welcome you all on behalf of Bhaktivedanta Institute to this ongoing discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we are discussing from the 10th canto, which is Sammam Bonam, and first chapter, Advent of Lord Krishna, and verse 25. So we have been hearing about how Lord Brahma and other demigods, they all go to the Kshirosagra, the what we call the shore of Kshirosagra, and go and request for a solution, and because there are unwanted things happening. So that time the Lord assures that he will appear himself. And Brahmaji is explaining how the Lord appeared, and the same thing is being explained by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, and same is being explained in Naimisharanya by Sukadeva Goswami to assembled sages. And those dialogues, those what you call discourses, you can call it as, we are hearing through this Bhagavatam. That is where we are now. Brahmaji is also explaining now how when the Lord appeared, he appeared with all his parshvadas, all his associates. When the Lord appears, everyone appears along with the Lord. He doesn't appear alone, because the Lord is everything. Everything emanates from the Lord. Everyone emanates from the Lord. Everyone is part and parcel of the Lord. So when he appears, automatically, it is by default, everybody appears. The personalities, Kamshas, Skalas, So Lord Brahma is saying that, okay, now the Lord is going to appear, and you all, should also appear. Your wives should appear for the pleasure of the Lord. So in this verse, Brahmaji is talking about how the Lord's potency, which is called Vishnu Maya or Yoga Maya, also appeared along with the Lord. Okay. So Vishnur Maya Bhagavati. So this Bhagavati word is used, Prabhupada writes in the translation, word-to-word translation, that as good as Bhagavan, because she means the potency personified. Yoga Maya is the potency, internal potency of the Lord personified, and she's called Bhagavati because she's as good as Bhagavan. So therefore known as Bhagavati. Okay. And he says this Bhagavati or the Yoga Maya will appear along with the Lord. And what for she'll appear? She will appear to carry out the orders of the Supreme Lord in different capacities. And one wonderful thing is explained here, that the same Yoga Maya becomes Mahamaya in the material world. Okay. Now, if you see, there's a wonderful connection for us to understand this clarity, this minute clarity, very detailed clarification is given only in our culture. Otherwise we get bewildered by what is the position of Maya Devi, Durga, what is the position of general concept of the Lord, Lakshmi Devi, So this very clearly explains their positions actually. Okay. So everything, this Yoga Maya, when she expands into the material world, she becomes Mahamaya. And Yoga Maya is the potency of the Lord. Okay. And why she appears? She appears because she is the servant. We are all the servant. We are all also energy. Okay. We are Tarsa Shakti. Right. We are all the energy of the Lord. So the energy is there only for the pleasure of the Lord. This energy should work for the pleasure of the Lord. So that is the ultimate purpose of the energies. Okay. And us being also the energies of the Lord, energy of the Lord, part and parcel of the Lord, energy of the Lord, our job is to serve the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. Now, in the Vedas, Prabhupada writes, it is said that the potencies of the Supreme Personality of God are called by different names. Rashya Shakti, vividaiva shruyate. It is said, Parasha Shakti vividaiva shruyate. I will just read that full shloka. Tam Ishwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram Tam Devatmanam Paramam Cha Daivatam Patim Patinam Paramam Parastad Vidamadevam Bhuvanesham Vidyam Natasya Karyam Karanam Cha Vidyate Natat Samas Shabhyadiskas Shadrishyate Parashya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate Swabhavika Jnana Bala Kriyacha. The translation goes like this. The Supreme Lord is the controller of all other controllers. And he is the greatest of all the diverse planetary leaders. It's all summed up here. Everyone is under his control. All entities are delegated with particular power. I am the ability in man. All the entities, including us. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Paurusham Drushu, I am the ability in man. So this ability comes from Krishna. Okay. So all entities are delegated with a particular power only by the Supreme Lord. They are not supreme themselves. This is what we miss in our understanding. He is also worshipable by the demigods and the Supreme Director of all directors. Whatever you think of, all the directors work under the direction of the Supreme Personality of God and the Supreme Director. Sarvaloke Maheshwaram. That is why he is controller of all the controllers. He is also worshipable by all demigods and the Supreme Director of all directors. Therefore, he is transcendental to all kinds of material leaders. What to talk about the material leaders? They stand nowhere actually. And controllers, and is worshipable by all. There is no one greater than him, and he is the supreme cause of all causes. Asama Uddhava. There is no one who is equal to him. There is no one who is greater than him. That is the position of the Supreme Lord. Now the next shloka's translation goes like this. He does not possess bodily form like that of an ordinary living entity. There is no difference between his body and his soul. His body is also Satchidananda body. Everything related to the Lord is transcendental. He is absolute. There is no duality. All his senses are transcendental. Any one of his senses can perform the action of any other senses. The same thing is described in Brahma Samhita. Okay, I am not getting the shloka immediately. Therefore, no one is greater than him or equal to him. His potencies are multifarious, and thus his deeds are automatically performed as a natural sequence. So basically, he is one, but he is catering to the desires of everybody. Eko bahunam vidadati kama. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam vidadati kama. So that is the potency of the Lord. Okay. So such a great Lord, when he is appearing, all his controllers, directors, everybody will appear. So in this case, the appearance of Yogamaya or the Vishnu Maya along with the Lord is explained. Now, Prabhupada is talking about this difference between Yogamaya and Mahamaya. How the Yogamaya does a job in the spiritual world, okay, and how the same Yogamaya does a job in the material world. How she covers the conditioned soul from the spiritual aspects of life. The Yoga Maya, in the form of Mahamaya, manifested as three modes of material nature, Triguna, covers the consciousness of the living entity and completely cover him from his understanding his actual position. But the moment this living entity, this is till the time the living entity want to enjoy independent of Krishna, this situation exists. But the moment this living entity desires to move towards the Supreme Lord, then the same Mahamaya helps him as Yoga Maya to progress in his spiritual life. It's such a wonderful concept to understand. So, Vishnu Maya will deprive you of the spiritual understanding if you do not want it, and the same Vishnu Maya will help you if you want to go back home, back to Godhead. Okay. So that's what Srila Prabhupada writes. The conditioned soul under the influence of Maya, thinks that they are the body, like Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Sudra, so on and so forth. Okay. They forget that they are all part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna being spiritual, Krishna being pure, we forget that we are also pure in our original constitutional position. Okay. And we get attached so much to this bodily tags, bodily designations. You know, if you go and tell somebody you are not a Kshatriya, Baba, you are a Sudra, you will get very angry. If you go and tell somebody you are not a Shudra, they will get very angry. So when Prabhupada says, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you can just mute your mic. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So, this Mahamaya covers the consciousness of the living entities and make them to relate themselves to their body and think that they are the body. That is how. Now the same Mahamaya, what happens, what she does in case of liberated souls, when the conditioned soul becomes liberated, however, he thinks himself as the servant of Krishna. Till that time, he thinks that he is the servant of his body, servant of his self, servant of his extended self. Aham mameti, me and mine. Okay, this is the consciousness. And this consciousness of serving comes eternally. The service and love is the eternal constituent or the quality of the soul. So because it is there inherently, you have to work, you have to serve, you have to love. So when the love and service is directed towards your own self and your extended self and to the material world, then that becomes karma. And the results of that karma binds you. And this all happens Prakrite Kriyamanani. The Prakriti, The three modes of material nature influences you to do these activities. That's why Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, why is that I feel that things are being forced upon me? I'm forced to do what I'm doing. So that is the quality or character of this three modes, the material nature. Okay. So Mahamaya covers the consciousness of the spirit soul in the material world. The same Mahamaya as Yogamaya clears the consciousness of the living entity, okay, and allows him to progress in the spiritual world, towards the spiritual world, okay. But Prabhupada says, so don't think that, it's all because of your activity, your desire. Ultimately, the controller is the Lord. For both Mahamaya and Yogamaya, whatever it is, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Characharam, Chara Achara, the moving and the non-moving is happening. It's moving and non-moving. Is talking about the material nature. The atoms, the electrons are moving within the atom, and protons and the neutrons are there in the nucleus. So how is that possible? How is it possible? Why they behave the way they are behaving? So it is because of the energy of the Lord. Okay. So Prabhupada says, all said and done, he is the supreme controller. It is by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the material energy Mahamaya works upon the conditioned soul. But the conditioned soul thinks that he is the doer. Ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. He thinks, that I am the doer. The whole problem in this material world is because of this one sentence, understanding that I am the doer. Aham mameti, when we move from aham mameti consciousness to kim karoti consciousness. How can I serve? What can I do? Then things will be. If the politicians ask the people, how can I serve you? If the ministers ask the Prime Minister, how can I serve you? And if the Prime Minister holding the position like a king, if he asks the Supreme Lord, how can I serve you? You have put me in this position, guide me. There will be paradise in this world. It will also become spiritual world. It is spiritual world. It is only part of the spiritual world which is covered, right? This is 1/4 of the spiritual sky. Anyhow, so the Supreme Lord remains in his position of supreme controller. Okay. And everything happens Maya Dakshena Prakriti, under his direction. Whereas the living entity thinks that Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvada Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. The foolishly thinks himself to be independent. So, how to move from conditioned state to liberated state now? So, Prabhupada writes, when you execute devotional service, Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anatta Nivrittasya, Tata, Nishtha, Sata, Asakti, Tata, prema, bhava, prema. He starts with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Okay. Now, to move from Shraddha to Prema and to attain your original forgotten constitutional position, you have to execute devotion service. Okay, that's what Prabhupada is given here. But when the conditioned soul becomes liberated by executing devotional service, so this is the process to move from conditioned state to liberated state. He is given greater and greater opportunity. See, ultimately, the sanctioning is required. We should never think, oh, I have become devotee now. I am doing my chanting wonderfully. I can chant the slokas nicely. I can perform deity worship fantastically. Every moment, every second, we have to be in this position of Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, and keep doing Kirtaniya Sadahari. The day, the moment this thing gets into my head that now I have become a devotee, then the problem starts. Srila Gaurgand Maharaj says that when a person joins Krishna conscious movement, is all effulgent, beaming, and everything. His face is so radiant and other things. And after some time, everything kind of becomes a little bit dull. And why? So he says, when he joins the movement, he thinks that he wants to become devotee. But after some time, he thinks that he has become devotee. So it is so much true actually. So we should always be in a very humble mood, that humility, that I am nothing. I am just a tool in the hands of my spiritual master, Krishna. And if I can be a nice tool, then that's enough for me. Marabira kabhi jo icha tuhara. Whether you want to kill me, of course, this is a very, very high level of understanding. Coming to that stage. But we can kind of, why the acharyas are singing these kind of bhajans, Bhaktivinoda Thakur sing this. Whether you want to keep me alive or kill me, it is all your ichha. So we can just try to reach the state by constantly praying, prarthana. Srila Narottam Thakur has a complete set of bhajans. It is prarthana. Praise and praise and praise. This praise will bring tears in your eyes. How Srila Narottam Thakur praise hankers to attain that position of serving the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So that should be our mood actually. And that is the mood our Guru Parampara, the lineage wants us to carry. So our Parampara not only empowers us, it transfers the mood. That is the key actually. We have to develop that mood. The humility, okay, is one of the key elements of that mood. So, Srila Prabhupada finally says that does the Lord's potency have, Vishnu Maya has two features, which is Avaranika and Unmukha. So this feature only kind of he gives the example how Mother Devaki and Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, particularly Mother Yashoda, was never given an opportunity to know that she has given birth to a Supreme Personality of Godhead, or she is dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the controller of all the controllers. So that is done by Yogamaya. Yogamaya plays a very, very important role in the pastimes of Lord in Vrindavan. As we move into further chapters, we will know, we will keep coming across Yogamaya, her role, how she plays a role beautifully, wonderfully. Sometimes Krishna himself will not know that she will do something, but ultimately whatever she does, that is for the pleasure of Krishna only. Okay. Sometimes the disciple, for the pleasure of the spiritual master, will do something which the spiritual master himself would not have expected. But ultimately he knows everything. But just to give this, adan pradan, this exchanges, loving exchanges, the spiritual master will act as if he doesn't know, and it naturally happens. And he'll be pleasantly surprised that, yeah, wow. So similarly, Yogamaya and Lord Krishna, this kind of instances come. So the Yogamaya acted in a different way with his near and dear ones, but acted in a different way with his so-called enemies. There are no enemies for Krishna. Who's enemy? Who can, become equal? But Krishna also wants to fight with the powerful one. Otherwise, what is the point? We, chooses. That's why, we will see moving forward that he will have one demon killed for breakfast, one for the lunch, so on. So all of them are the associates of the Lord from the spiritual world, has descended down to perform this wonderful, beautiful pastime. The material creation also, Brahmaji, Manu, all the Prajapatis, the Rishis, Munis, all of them appear because it is the will, sweet will of the Lord that He wants them to appear so that the whole thing can be conducted nicely. So, finally, Prabhupada gives one conclusion that the Mahatmas, Mahatmanastu Mam Pata Daivim Prakritim Ashrita, they take the shelter of the Daivic. Mahatma was fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord, are directed by Daivi Prakriti, that is Yoga Maya. See, there is no difference between, ultimately, there is no difference actually. That's why the Lord says, Mama Maya Duratyaya. It is my potency, my Maya. Okay. So in this, we should understand that it is the Lord's potency. Only thing it does a different thing. Prabhupada gives a very nice example, engineering example, where the electricity, same electricity is used for heating and cooling. For heating, when a coil, induction coil is heated, then it produces heat. When it is supplied with electricity, it produces heat. And that is what, you have these geysers or the immersion rods. But the same electricity, when it is given to air conditioning, which drives a motor, which drives a compressor, which compresses the air, and then releases, then it gets cooled. Okay. So the input is same. The input is the energy of the Lord, and the outputs are different. Okay. From the same input, different outputs come. Sometimes heat, sometimes cold. So similarly, Rupa says, the Mahatmas are guided by Yogamaya. The Duratmas are guided by Mahamaya. So we have to rise ourselves. I have to rise myself from the Duratma to Mahatma. And each one of us have the potency to rise to that state. For that, we need to have our little endeavor and pray for the mercy of the spiritual master, Guru Parampara, Krishna, Srimati Radharani, to bless us so that we grow, progress in our spiritual life. So, to conclude, in this today's shloka, Brahmaji is explaining how the Vishnu Maya, in the form of Yoga Maya and Mahamaya, appeared along with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. So I stop here. I already crossed my given time. So we can take 3 minutes for the question answer and then we can conclude.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. Yeah, please come forward for any questions, queries, additions.
Yeah, additions most welcome. So this is Katha, right? And if you all have any, and today is a wonderful, wonderful day. Vaikunta Ekadashi, Putrada Ekadashi, and it's good to discuss past tense of the Lord. So in the past tense perspective, we'll discuss, not as a philosophy perspective, even the philosophy is there. No questions? No comments? Any comment? Additions? Maharaj is there?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Succinctly, you have elaborated. Thank you very much for this. So this Yoga Maya and Mahamaya, they are essentially one potency, right? With different functionalities depending on the conditioning of the living entity. Devotees or non-devotees. So Yoga Maya actually is. I was just trying to understand this. Mahamaya is also called as Durga.
True.
Durga in this material world, right?
Correct.
Somewhere I heard that this Yoga Maya is actually none other than Subhadra Maya.
True, Prabhu.
Subhadra Maya is
even right, yes.
So in all this relationship, where do we find the position of Srimati Radharani?
Yeah, possibly we need to wait till she appears. So Haladini Shakti, that's what my internal potency actually. So everything comes from her actually. She's a pleasure potency of the Lord. So ultimately, whatever happens that brings pleasure to the Lord, that is herself. So in that way, you can see that she is the ultimate. She is the ultimate cause of all these potencies. I think we will come across that. Prabhupada will bring those points. Yeah, we want to know, but it'll be nice when you travel slowly, releasing this and how much ever Prabhupada wants to reveal to us, how much ever Krishna wants to reveal to us, to our thing. Let us accept and move ahead. I think 10th canto will have answer for all our queries, I think. But ultimately, there are references where it is said that all the Shaktis, the energies, or the ultimate, the cause is Srimati Radharani. Actually, it is there. So we come across that. Whether it is Yogamaya, Mahamaya, everything, the source is Srimati Radharani. Because I think for that we may have to a little bit touch upon our Chaitanya Charitamrita also. When Radharani comes into picture, it becomes a higher philosophy, So we'll have to go to the PhD, right? The undergraduate, postgraduate studies, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the PhD is like Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I don't know if you're fortunate enough, we'll finish this and we'll start with Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we'll understand more and more. Actually, I was trying to go through Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is even the creation part is also very elaborately mentioned. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhilila, chapter 20, and so on. Very, very nicely explained. So, to answer your question, Prabhu, she is the source of everything. Or if you have some references, you can give.
Probably that was too early of me to have asked.
Yeah, he is just born as a baby. So let us go step by step,
There's
Let's take.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Is
Yes. You
there
want to
any
add
other?
something?
Yeah. So question is that Prabhupada is writing the Mahamaya actually bewilders the living entities
Mm-hmm.
and keeps them as far as possible from Krishna.
Mm.
So why would Mahamaya, do that? Because how is it being very beneficial for the conditioned living entity? Because ultimately, how do we actually connect the dots that Krishna is very merciful, at the same time his one potency is trying to keep the living entities away from his transcendental loving service?
I think Prabhupada answered that question in the second para probably. So when they are in this, it says, as long as one is in the bodily conception of life. See, why the material world is created, the material manifestation happens, we all know that it is because the ultimate cause is the desire of the living entity. Right? So as long as the desire is there to enjoy independent of Krishna, Krishna having sanctioned the free will to the living entity, he allows and he creates environment where he can enjoy. So that is done by Mahamaya. She helps. You want to enjoy भोगना है भौतिक जगत को भोग. She helps. But somehow when this living entity bumps into a pure devotee, bumps into or any devotee, somehow because of his past karma, sukriti, ajnana sukriti, whatever it is, or by the mercy of a pure devotee, he doesn't have any this thing. He just comes and glances, and everybody gets purified. So one of these factors makes the living entity to think in this direction. Oh, what am I doing here? Actually, I'm suffering here. Actually, I think I'm enjoying, but I'm suffering. So that very thought kickstarts this process. And that's why Prabhupada writes, more and more, when the conditioned soul becomes liberated, however, he thinks that he is the eternal servant of Krishna, increasingly helps him to become purified and devote his energy to service of Krishna. So very nicely, step by step, Prabhupada is given. As long as you are in conditioned state, you'll be identifying yourself with the body, and you want to continue like that, no problem. You have the free will to do that. But if you use the same free will to just turn your face towards Krishna, then also the Krishna is ready with his energy to guide you. The same energy, Prabhupada writes that she accesses Yogamaya and helps the living entity. Yes, Prabhu.
No, very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I think our Prabhuji is
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So,
Prabhuji, in the purport it is written that Mahamaya is the personality of Godhead, something like that, right? It's not different from
the
Lord.
Vishnu Maya. The whole thing. The Vishnu Maya is the non-different from himself. That's why she is called Bhagavati. Right? Vishnu Maya was as good as Supreme Personality of Godhead.
But she is not Mahamaya and Yogamaya? Like,
Both. It is Yogamaya only. See, for example, let us say from our material world perspective, if you look at her, being in our material consciousness, if you look at her, she will pose herself as Mahamaya. Okay? But the moment you turn towards the spiritual aspects of it, then the same Mahamaya will pose herself as Yogamaya.
so, Prabhu, like when we say Ma Durga, so it says she's a demigod, right? Ma Kali, demigod. Why to worship, directly worship Lord? So in that case, they are non-different from Supreme Lord. So she can be turned as demigod or something.
Correct. This is what I mentioned in my initial discussion only, that this clarifies the position of the demigods, the position of this Lord's energies. Right? See, what is the position of the living entity, myself, is I'm part and parcel of Krishna. Okay. Similarly, Ma Durga, she is a part and parcel of Krishna's energy. Okay. She has been directed, Maya Dakshina Prakriti. So, Prakriti Kriyamanani, what is the shloka? Under my direction, she is acting. The Lord is saying, yeah. So, she is acting under my direction. So, she is the devotee of the Lord. She is here to perform or execute the orders of the Lord. That is between the Lord and Ma Durga. Now, what is between me and Ma Durga? Okay. If I want to be in the prison house, continue, she'll help. But if you want to do some good thing within the prison house, she will, sanction to relieve you early from the prison house. So it all depends on the prisoner what he wants to do. Okay. But she, as the warden of the prison house, she acts under the direction of the government, and here the government is Krishna. Okay. And Krishna eternally is anchoring transcendentally to relieve such living entities from the prison house. He wants to reclaim back into his kingdom. You know. So that is what is the thing, that the Lord is also ready. His energies are ready to help you. You see, so much of facilities there. Only thing that is stopping is, I am not ready. This happens, right? Prabhupada has given, you have to do this at this age, you have to do this at this age, you have to do this. But we hold on to my material requirements. You know, I can talk about myself. I hold on to my material requirements. Oh, I have to take care of my parents, I have to take care of my family, I have to take care of my son, I have to take care of my study. So there's no end, right? As long as I'm holding on here, how is it? It's like a boat tied to the thing, and the boatman went on rowing whole night, and finally morning when he got up and saw that the boat is not moved ahead because the boat is tied so tightly with the attachments. Right. So that is what it is.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bro.
I'll take just 2 minutes to add.
Please.
Krishna, my Lord. Actually, this Durga Maya, she is not a Jeev Tattva, and she is the energy of same Subhadra Maharani or Yoga Maya and Durga Maya. They're same, performing two different functionality depending on the mood of the condition living entity. She is actually energy of Krishna. And when I say when Prabhupada say non-different, which means this is Achinta Veda Ved, they are non-different as well as different energies. Krishna is energetic. He is the one for whom all these energies are like working and for his enjoyment. So there is this Avidhi Purvakam worship and there's Vidhi Purvakam. Vidhi Purvakam is when someone worships any demigod, for that matter, Durga Ma or anyone, to facilitate him overcome his obstacles on the path of devotional service. That is the nice way and rightful way of offering our respects to all the demigods. But we should never think that Durga Ma is same as Krishna and all these are same as Krishna.
And should not think that she's same as us also.
No, she is not Jiva Tattva.
Yeah.
And when I say demigodly, even though she is not a Jiva Tattva and demigods are mostly Jiva, but sometimes these Durga Ma and Shankarji is also not Jiva Tattva, and Vishnu is also not definitely Jiva Tattva, but they assume the post of demigods. For example, president may also assume the post of sometime governor. So but that does not mean that they are demigod and they are living entities. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. So just one last thing, because we are discussing about Ma Durga. We can read this, what do you call, Brahma Samhita 544. That is, Srishti Siti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chaye Vayasya Bhavanani Vibhakti Durga Ichanurupamapi Yasya Chache Satesa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So, Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj writes, the external potency Maya, who is the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency. You see her higher position, look at her position. Sat, Chit, Ananda, right? Sat is eternity, Chit is knowledge potency, okay? And the external potency Maya, who is the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency. She is the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. That is her function. Who is the person? What is or her function is mentioned here. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda in accordance with whose will, very important. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. Very clear. Okay. Person, function, and the power, delegation. The power is delegated by the Supreme Lord. Whatever she is doing, it is under the direction of the Supreme Lord. And who is she? She is the shadow of the chit potency of the Supreme Lord. Okay, we'll stop here. You are already crossed, I think, 8:45. With your permission, we'll stop. Prabhu?
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
For blessing. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. गंधरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, बीआई भक्तवंत की जय, निताय गौर परमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। वांछा कल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
His Grace His Grace Madhur Krishna Prabhu की जय हो।
हरे कृष्णा। श्रील श्रीपाद गुरु महाराज की जय। हरे कृष्णा।